Everybody, welcome to the podcast. And today we've got Dave. He owns Silencer Shop. Okay. What was that audio about?
That was me.
Okay.
My
let's
bad.
just. Oh
So-
no, don't worry about it.
So, and so Silencer Shop, we've dealt with Silencer Shop for years now, but tell everybody what Silencer Shop is.
Really, it's our focus really is, first of all, selling silencers, but the primary business is making the process easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just every part of it, submitting the paperwork, getting all your information together, making sure it's right. That's our primary focus.
Okay, and they have made it easy. I mean, really, really easy. Matter of fact, compared to, imagine how it was 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's and ATF is constantly trying to make it harder, right? So it's like we're fighting this uphill battle, and we're constantly dealing with the new problems they present, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we've done a pretty good job over the years of
Yeah, with the kiosks and
matching
all that
pace,
stuff.
that's
yeah.
right,
We were just
exactly.
talking about that because Keith's needing some new suppressors, and Elliot's like, "Hey, just stop by the booth. He'll be able to do everything he needs just on this little kiosk, and we take care of the rest."
So let me ask you a question. You started out and said, hold on, don't ask that question until we get the mics on. But I'm going to ask you a question right first. What's the difference between a silencer and a suppressor?
There's really no difference at all. The suppressor is what they are technically. A silencer is what they are legally called. So I tend to alternate back and forth between the two terms. right?
Okay.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that the silencer is what it's legally called.
Yeah, the legal name for it is silencer.
I think like a lot of people. Somebody told me one day that like it's just a muffler basically.
It's
just making it a little bit quieter. Everybody thinks like it's from the movies where it's pew.
That's
like
right.
no, you still hear it. Like it doesn't make you like some secret assassin, but it's just a muffler, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, the muffler technology for cars really came from the same people that invented silencers for guns. It's the same technology.
Really.
Really?
The only difference is a firearm silencer has to have a hole through the middle of it for the bullet. That's really the only difference.
Well, I know that I wound up years ago. I was in South Africa, and all the rifles down there had
That's
suppressors
right.
on them, all of them. And I thought, how cool is this? And they, what are you talking about? I said, none of the rifles in the States have got them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, y'all got it all backwards. It's like, what? And I think we do have it all backwards. I mean, so if we're all worried about people's health and all that, and I mean, then hearing is certainly a part of people's health, and a suppressor makes shooting so much more fun.
And I say all the time, if silencers had been invented in the 80s, they would be required by OSHA, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a safety device. It makes a giant difference. It is not silent. It's not what's been represented in the movies at all.
Right.
Right. But they are so much better and safer for hunters.
Okay, so you asked the question first of this. Go ahead and do it. Ask it again.
Well, I was going to ask how long you guys have been doing this podcast.
Well, the better question: how long's this podcast?
Yeah.
Pretty recently,
including
actually.
this one? No.
Yeah. 2 hours. No, we just got this going relatively recently, but we've had some really good guests on so far.
Yeah, what we're trying to do. This is just another way for us to expand our business. Okay, and what we want to do is on this podcast, people who hunt. We want to feature people that hunt and how they're tied into the hunting industry. And a little bit about their company. This is not certainly not advertising. I mean, Silencer Shop is a great company, a supporter of our television show. But the thing about it is they do good for the industry, and we want to do things that are good for the industry and feature the people that are doing those good things. And so it's for that reason to have you on. So, how long? Talk about Silencer Shop. How long have you all been around?
I started it in 2010.
Okay.
So it's been about, 14 years this year.
And how long have you been hunting?
I've really been hunting since I was a kid. I think I shot my first antelope when I was in the 4th grade.
Oh, really?
Really?
Antelope.
Yep.
So where are you from?
My dad was military, so we were
Okay.
not really from anywhere, but I've lived in Texas for 22, 23 years now.
And based out of
Home to
Austin.
me, based in Austin, yep.
Right. So tell everybody about the process with Silencer Shop. What if you want a suppressor, what do you do?
The current process, you buy your silencer, whether it's online or from one of our 6,000 dealers. Either way works just fine. Then you use the kiosk.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. You're going too fast.
Okay.
Online. Where do they go to buy it online?
Silencershop.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So you either go to silencershop.com or go to any one of our dealers, buy a silencer, and then you go to the kiosk. It usually takes, call it 10 minutes to put your information into the kiosk, and then we really take care of it from there. So we review the paperwork, get everything ready to submit. There's a certification process the customer has to do, but it's really just a wait game at that point. right? There's a $200 tax. That's the law, right? But it's the hardest part of buying a silencer is waiting, honestly.
How long does it take?
Currently, they're actually wait times are coming down. They're down to 6 months.
Oh,
Really?
just 6 months.
That's right.
What is the as far as the turn down process? Are the people turned down, or is that what you wind up doing when you review it? And that you're looking for the red flags?
We are. Most people who get turned down are due to paperwork errors.
And you're not the one implementing the 6 month wait. That's
That's
a
right.
government part of
That
things.
is
You
the
can't do
government.
anything about that. You can't do anything about the tax. The only thing you can do is make the process simpler.
That's right.
Yes.
We have done stuff to impact that 6 month wait, but
Yeah.
the reality is ATF has never given enough access for us to truly impact it. Right.
Okay. So tell everybody about the suppressor and how much more enjoyable it is shooting a rifle that is suppressed, because I think most people have never shot one with a suppressor.
You know, and I'll come to this kind of from a hunter's perspective, right? I think, like when I'm hunting, I spend all day outside. You're kind of enjoying being outdoors. Maybe you're with the kids, whatever, right? And in that time, you're probably going to take one shot most of the time. So to really be protecting your hearing, are you going to wear muffs all day? Even the electronic muffs kind of screw with the experience, right? So you enjoy your time outside, but you got the can on there, and it gets that shot to where it's hearing safe and even comfortable for that single shot. And when you turn 75, 80, 85 years old, you can still hear people.
Yeah.
Because you
Well-
haven't lost your hearing.
I'm 31 years old. I've been hunting my whole life, and my hearing is already not probably as good as it should be. And I think about it. I was thinking about the other day. Is like when you shoot, like when you're saying that one shot,
Yep.
typically at an animal, right? You've been
Yep.
waiting all day. He comes out, bam, you shoot, and your adrenaline doesn't allow you to. If you shot that at the range, you'd notice it.
That's right.
But your adrenaline doesn't allow you to notice it, that it's damaging your hearing. So you don't think about it as like, oh,
You
no,
don't.
I'm not going to wear this crap all day. So it is nice to have, especially for follow-up shots too. If you need another one, especially you're hunting pigs or whatever, the animals never know where you're coming from. It's just a nice thing to have on your hunting rifle, 100%.
Okay,
And
so
it does reduce recoil. It improves accuracy for most people, especially
because it reduces recoil.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So as far as the accuracy goes, okay, talk about the difference shooting the same rifle with and without a suppressor.
What I usually tell people is you put a silencer on the gun. Most good silencers are going to change your point of impact. So that's not a bad thing. Your groups will shift at 100 yards, usually an inch or two, but your groups will tighten up. So you just re-zero the gun, you get tighter groups, you're good to go. You can take the can on and off, and it should be repeatable, so you don't have to re-zero it every time you take the can off. But it's and I'm alternating randomly between silencer, suppressor, and can. I just realized no consistency
fine.
at all.
You get it. All
Same thing.
relevant.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's but that's really improved accuracy, but changed point of impact. So you just re-zero the gun.
Okay, so putting one on your gun. Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So let's just say somebody's got a rifle that is not threaded. What did they do?
10 years ago, I'd have said, go to a gunsmith, pay your $75, get it threaded. And that's still an option. It's really not a bad option at all. But most of the time, the price of threaded guns have come down so much. For a
buy
lot
a
of people, just
different gun.
buy another gun.
Buy a different gun.
Unless you're just married to your gun and that's the one you want. Threading it is cheap. It's easy. Right?
Is
like I
it-
said, $75 is generally the cost of
Okay,
it.
are all threads the same?
No, but there are standards. So on like any 30 caliber, 7 millimeter, anything like that, it's going to be 5/8 24 is your thread pitch. Anything like a 22 or 5.56 or down, it's going to be 1/2 by 28. Those are really the two main thread pitches that anybody needs to know.
So when you order a suppressor and you have a threaded barrel already, how would you know what to order?
You can really order based on your caliber. So if people call on any modern firearm, it's going to be one of those thread pitches that I just said. But you can call like the shop and they'll tell you, oh, that's a gun that's specifically like a metric 18 by 1 or whatever, right?
Okay.
There are a few outliers, but for the most part, 1/2 by 28 and 5/8 24 covers almost everything.
What about as far as cleaning them? Okay.
Okay, now that's interesting. And people always want to know about cleaning them. And there are two things that get in your silencer. There's lead residue, which you absolutely have to get out, and there's carbon buildup, which you absolutely do not want to get out. It's so on your rifle cans where your rounds are all jacketed, you really don't have any carbon buildup, lead residue because of the jacketed bullet. The carbon buildup will build up to a point, and then the pressure of the round will actually keep it clean past that point. It'll get quieter as you shoot it in most cases. For 22 cans where you're shooting unjacketed ammo, and some pistol cans where you're shooting unjacketed ammo, those do need to come apart, be cleaned. For the most part, just shaken out. You need that lead residue out. But people who try to over clean their cans do more damage cleaning them than they will ever do shooting them. So just let it be.
So how do you
right?
clean one?
You don't. They clean themselves. Rifle cans, now 22 cans is a different thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's two different things. Anything where you're shooting unjacketed, you need to clean. Jacketed, don't mess with it. You're doing more harm than good.
So you're saying with the lead buildup that you physically need to clean it for?
You have to shake the stuff out of there because that lead buildup will fill that can out. It doesn't fill it up. It will not come out.
And it'll
the
be
carbon will.
It'll be like something getting jammed in your...
And they'll fill up, they'll get heavier, and they'll get louder. Like a 22 can, they're famous, if you don't clean them, for becoming solid bricks that are just an extension of your barrel eventually.
Wow.
Right? So those have to be cleaned. But a rifle can, you got one on your 308 or your 30-06 or whatever, man, I tell you, the pressure of the round just keeps that carbon moving through it, and it will be quieter if you don't clean it.
Well, I know that years ago, I think a lot of people wanted to have muzzle brakes because muzzle brakes would tame down the recoil.
That's right.
But oh my God,
I know. It sucks for the people by you.
You're right. I
Oh,
mean,
God.
at the gun range, I'd always want to get there real early in the morning because I did have a break. And when all of a sudden somebody else would show up, I'd look down there and see what they're shooting. If it had a break, I'd be like, okay, I'm done because I can't handle it. And so now it's like the suppressors have tamed down these rifles so much and they make it enjoyable. You know, we do a lot of nighttime hunting, I mean, for hogs.
Yep.
Okay, so it's repetitive shooting, boom, 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 boom. And I think we couldn't do that unless we had suppressed firearms.
Well, and it's so nice, literally, like he's saying, he'll go out and waylay these hogs, just shot after shot after shot after shot. And then we'll go to another spot, waylay them over there, and then come back to the original
That's right.
spot. And sometimes they're back out there because you don't look, it's more, much more controlled. It's nice.
Yep.
I think that if somebody's listening to this and they wind up having a child that they want to get into shooting, okay, I don't know of a better way to do it than shoot a suppressed firearm.
Yeah, I remember years ago I was involved in the Texas Youth Hunting Program, which I cannot say enough good about that
Yep.
program. Honestly.
I agree.
But I remember going to one hunt where there was a guy, and his son had to be, I'm going to say 10 years old-ish. He was making him shoot a 300 Win Mag, unsuppressed, and he's like, just suck it up, be a man. And I was thinking that is the worst thing you can do for a kid shooting.
Absolutely.
It's you do not want to I'm going to say overgun a kid.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good word.
That happened with my daughter on the Texas Youth Hunting Program. They said she has to shoot a 243. I said, too big a gun. They said, that's the rule. It has to be, because she was 7, weighed like 50 pounds.
Yeah, that's
you know.
right.
No, she has to shoot that. And she was a good shot with a 22 250 or a 223. I mean, a crack shot. And she's, Daddy, I don't want to do it. I said, look, you got to do it. Suck it up. Just like you said.
Yeah.
She shot it one time, and she wanted to stop shooting.
And they start flinching.
Yes, and
Their
then developing
accuracy
bad
goes-
habits.
That's right.
And so then she went to a crossbow, and it wasn't until she hit 12 years old that she says, okay, I'm willing to try it again. And it was because she shot a firearm that was too big and it was too loud. And so to get kids involved or beginners involved, there's no better way to do it than suppress a gun.
And I tell you, the caliber for kids that I know in the silencer business, 300 Blackout's the caliber everybody loves.
Yeah.
I don't tend to use it a whole lot myself. But a supersonic 300 Blackout for kids is like the best Texas deer rifle I've
Yep.
ever used.
Yep.
Low recoil, super quiet with a can,
Nice sized bullet.
and it'll take down any deer with one shot.
Yep.
It's just a fantastic kid deer gun, right?
So what is your favorite kind of hunting?
Yeah, man, I tell you, this is a little wonky. I love the 280 Ackley. I've got a couple of them, and I just love the.
Where do you get
280.
ammo?
I reload.
I was going to say.
280 Ackley?
That's right. Yeah.
You ever shot one?
No, have you?
They're sweet. Oh, yeah, they're sweet.
It's like, man, I feel like it's everything a 7mm is without. It doesn't have as much recoil.
What's the new, Elliot was talking about it, like 300, the new one, 300.
PRC.
Maybe. What's the ones they're hunting Cape Buffaloes with? And
Oh,
you heard
you're
of
probably talking about the 8.6 Blackout.
Yes, 8.6 Blackout, that's what it is.
Yeah, I tell you, I've shot that thing, and I have had fantastic results with that. Like I'm shooting a 400-pound black bear, and the wound channel on that thing was like nothing you've ever seen. Just
Supersonic, though.
oh yeah, supersonic. But I will say, reloading for it is actually borderline scary because that fast twist rate amps your pressure so fast, you have to drop down further than you expect. I don't know if you guys are reloaders.
For that reason, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It scared me a little bit.
So you like to bear hunt?
Yes, actually. I've gone, I think, for the last 3 or 4 years up to Maine and 1 year to Montana.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
See, bear hunting is my passion.
Is that right?
Oh.
Yeah. Where do you go?
Well, I'm going wherever I can go, but I mean, my favorite place is Alberta
Okay. So you're
because I can
probably,
kill two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it grizzlies then that you're
No, they're black bear.
Okay, that's what
But
I
I like killing brown bear. I like any kind of bear, but the black bear, I love black bear hunting over bait. Some people, bait. Yeah, there's 3 ways to hunt bears. You know, you spot and stalk.
Right.
Okay, you can bait or you can use dogs.
Right.
And I like bait because I like watching bears. Okay, and you don't have to kill them. You can just watch them. And if a big one comes in, you can smoke him. But the thing about bait hunting, you can judge them. You can judge the size of a bear. You know, the problem is if you're spotting and stalking, and I've done that too, there's really nothing to gauge the size of that bear with. You know, you pull up a scope and it's a 3 to 9 power scope. You got the power up on 9. And you look at it and think, oh, man, that's a monster. You're smoking. You walk up and it's boo-boo. That pretty much sucks.
Well, and where you hunt, if you didn't bait, no one would ever see a bear.
Yeah.
It's thick woods.
I mean, I'm up in the Canadian provincial forest, and it's so thick that some of these bears have never seen a human before, and so I like hunting up there like that. I mean, it's different. It's also during a time of year that we don't have deer hunting and anything else going on, so I can go up there in the springtime and enjoy myself and not miss out on anything down here.
Absolutely. I will say, I'll make this story short, but the craziest hunting story I've ever been a part of was actually bear hunting. And I don't know if this is appropriate.
We want to hear it.
No,
This is
go
what
ahead.
this podcast is all about.
Okay, so we were actually chasing this bear with dogs in Maine for, I'm going to say 4 hours, right? Finally caught up with the bear, which turned and attacked the dog. And the guides were all carrying 10-millimeter pistols, which I suspect was not enough gun, right?
The 180 grain bullet doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah.
So the guide pulls out his 10 millimeters, unloads it on the bear, which didn't appear to notice, and then attacked the guide. Bit him in the chest, or bit him in the arm, bit him in the chest, pinned him to the ground. So the guide is holding the bear off like this. While the guide is on the ground with the bear on him trying to eat him, the hunter walks up in point blank range. And this is actually where you see that a lot of hunters aren't actually gun guys, which I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just an observation. He aims through the scope, point blank range, and shoots that guide's toe clean off with the bear on him. So that it was the craziest set of circumstances, like I said, that I've ever been part of. And I was about 500 yards away, and it was pretty thick woods, but I was like running towards it, and then he did shoot the bear, and everybody lived. But like I said, probably the most crazy story I've ever been a part of.
The poor guy was getting attacked by a bear and then got his show
got
tied
shot.
off from a totally
And he didn't even know his toe was shot. So it was afterwards, he goes to take, you see a hole in the top of his shoe, and he takes it off, and his toe's just blown apart. It was pretty crazy, actually.
See, unfortunately, I've never been on a hunt where there's a gun accident like that. I've been on them where there's accidental discharges. But the thing about like gun safety, you will not meet anybody in the world more serious about it than me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's bad, and because one mistake and it ruins. I mean, it's over. You know, and everybody thinks that, oh, I'm safe with a gun. You can never be too safe.
That's
with a gun.
right.
We spend a lot of time together. Okay, and so one of the things that we like to do is open the action and show it to the other that it's unloaded. It is impossible for it to fire.
Yep.
Okay, he goes downrange. A lot of times we'll go set up targets. It's like, and he knows I'm safe. Well, guess what? Not only is action open, I'm stepping away from the bench. Okay, because the gun can't go off by itself.
Yeah.
But gun safety is so important, and I think that it's only guns are only as safe as the operator.
I agree. Yeah, I tend to walk around with my action open for that exact because people can see, right?
Yes.
It's and I'm glad stuff like that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Well, you got to be paranoid about it. Like, I trust myself, but you can't trust yourself 100% of the time. You're gonna, something's gonna. You just got to be wary and almost paranoid about it. Non-stop.
That's
crazy. So, what other types of hunting do you like to do?
In the last few years, really the most of my hunting has really been Texas deer hunting and hog hunting, but I've been alligator hunting, elk hunting every year. Bear
Where do you
hunting.
elk hunt?
Montana.
What part?
We hunt just north of the Yellowstone North Gate.
So you're applying for permits every year?
Mm-hmm. And the reason we go, my son actually lives in Wyoming, but I can't draw in Wyoming. There's nothing I could do to get a tag there. So we go to Montana. It's not a very far drive for him, and it's our thing. We go to Montana every year.
Y'all camp out while you're up there?
No, we actually, there's a lodge we go to every year. They've got a pretty nice setup. So we've thought about doing the camping out thing and just have never
You haven't done it yet.
haven't.
So
done
you're
that.
rifle hunting?
That's right. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And are you what you seen a lot of bulls out there, or is it?
Oh yeah, we've seen quite a few. It's the hard part about hunting that boundary is a lot of times you're seeing bulls that are still in the park, and of course you can't shoot those,
Torture.
but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what's the biggest bull you ever shot?
You know, I tell you, I shot one. So we go every year, and I've actually only shot one in the time we've gone. And it was not really a huge one. It was 5x5, nothing special. I'm going more to hang out with my son than,
So what'd you think about it when you walked up to it?
you know, they're giant animals.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you got to put it on your back and take it out.
Well, they have horses and mules.
Oh, good.
Lucky for you.
I know, right?
I think that I remember the very first one I shot. I went up, I shot it, and I walked up to them and, holy crap, now what? I mean, it's like picking up a hindquarter is all you can do.
That's right.
Where was the first one you ever shot?
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah.
That's cool. But you deer hunt a lot, mainly in Texas.
Yep. Deer hunting pretty much exclusively in Texas. I've never really gone, other than growing up I did, but I'm saying as an adult.
Yeah.
So is for the customers of Silencer Shop, are they primarily just shooters or are they hunters?
You know, it's a mix, and there is some overlap, but a lot of people just enjoy shooting, and a lot of people just enjoy hunting. And you find that a lot of the hunters, like I said before, aren't necessarily gun guys, right? They have a gun, but they have it to hunt. Whereas a lot of people who are gun guys think, oh, I could hunt if I wanted to, but they don't ever actually go do it. So there's not as much overlap as you would think.
What about women? Do you have more women
I think
that come in all the time?
that segment is growing actually pretty fast.
I would think so.
So, and I think a lot of women really do. Both my daughters love to hunt.
Really?
So,
But as far as being a suppressor customer, I mean, it's what I'm getting at.
Even buying suppressors.
I would think so as well.
That's right.
I think because women tend to be a little bit smarter, a little bit quicker than
That's
guys, you know. So
Better shots.
yeah,
They tend
and
to
better
stick
shots.
to it. They're more patient. Both my girls picked up shooting as far as accuracy goes better than my son did. Right.
Really?
When they were younger.
Yeah.
So
We do a lot of that.
How about suppressors on shotguns? You make them?
Oh,
we don't make anything, but we do sell.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we sell suppressors for shotguns. For me personally, when I'm hunting with a shotgun, I tend to be in a group, right? It's a very social sport versus rifle hunting. So if everybody doesn't have one on their gun, sometimes I wonder why I'm carrying one on
Defeats
the
the
extra
purpose.
weight. Yeah, and I'm not saying don't get one. I'm just saying if I'm hunting without a suppressor, it's a shotgun.
it's funny you brought that up because I was thinking turkey hunting.
Yeah, turkey hunting for sure, shotgun, because you're by yourself turkey
Yeah.
hunting. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you would have to have the shotgun threaded, though.
You know they attach to the choke.
Really?
Yeah.
How does
To
that
the
work?
choke?
That's right. Well,
So you could still have a full choke and
That's
put a
right.
suppressor. Really?
Yeah, so you basically insert the attachment mechanism onto your choke threads, and that becomes your choke. So there are different chokes that will actually attach to your
Oh
gun.
my gosh.
There are other ones where it's a generic, like full open choke that's attaching to your gun, and then the choking mechanism is on the other end of the can. You have both types of styles. It's just preference.
We might have to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you're right. For turkey hunting, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But for like pheasant hunting, dove hunting, sometimes I question if it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
How difficult is it for you personally to sit back and watch what's going on in our country and kind of and be concerned about the Second Amendment?
You know, I am extremely concerned about the Second Amendment. I think, this is where it gets scary to me, is when they start saying, a couple of years ago, Silencer Shop, we did this thing at the NRA convention where we put ads all around Houston, right? We paid them to put in all the electrical boxes. One of the electrical boxes, this wasn't our thing. It just happened to be on right by a middle school, like, building.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of blew up like, oh, you're advertising to kids, which we weren't intentionally. But I thought afterwards, kids should actually be involved in firearms. That's what instead of taking the approach of gun safety, let's learn about guns, let's train about guns, let's know what guns are, we're taking the approach of keep guns away from the kids, make them ignorant of it, make them scared of it. And as those kids are growing up being scared of firearms, they're more likely to believe the media hype of somehow an AR-15 is different than any other gun, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's got a pistol grip, it's more dangerous. It's just ludicrous.
Yes.
know? So I think the Second Amendment's in trouble, but it's just through this campaign of, I'm going to call it ignorance, right, where you're purposely not training kids. So I love groups that focus on training kids, taking them hunting, taking them shooting. I love that.
It's an educational thing, in my opinion, to get
It is.
get the kids around the guns. Firearms are nothing but tools.
That's right.
Okay, and you know, you could do bad with a hammer or a screwdriver as well. You know,
right.
they're nothing but tools. And so, you know, I just look at this and I'm thinking we're all in the same boat if we love to hunt. You know, we need to be concerned about the Second Amendment, what all this stuff going on politically is going to cause for the future. And I think the best way to reach these kids personally, I think, is one-on-one. I mean, you know, but we can only do so much. That's the reason why it's so important. Groups like the NRA or the GOA. I mean, you got different groups that are reaching out to these kids. You know, SCI. I mean, you got different groups that are doing a really good job of educating kids. But we need to do a better job, don't you think?
Oh, I agree. And you know, there are a lot of parents who either aren't gun owners or have never been hunting who want to. And they want to take their kids hunting. That's why I'm going to go back to Texas Youth Hunting Program again and just say that's one thing they do so well. The kids they're training the kids, but it's also the adult, right? So the parent is learning and kind of building a passion along with the kids. I think those types of programs are fantastic.
I would think an outdoor education program in school would be so cool. Think about that. If you could get that in the curriculum to where teachers taught that. If it was just maybe a course that they could go, maybe they don't get credit for it, like going to study hall, but outdoor education. Think how many kids would want to go to that.
Yeah, I agree. And it'd be, like I said, kind of train some of that ignorance out, but that's part of the reason they won't allow it, because there is a political motivation, right, to keep people dumb about the subject.
Yeah. I mean, and I have always been, let's educate, let's talk about these things.
That's right.
If these issues are things we can't talk about, there must be something wrong with it. No, let's talk about it and let's discuss it, because there's consequences to not talking about it, and they're negative for our industry.
That's right.
And so what I want to do is figure out a better way to reach people. What are y'all doing as far as like hunter safety goes? Do you get involved with hunter safety classes and try to get people maybe to be aware of what a suppressor is and all?
You know, we don't do any sort of classes ourselves. We sponsor groups that do, right? So that's really the approach we've taken, is just try to enable those groups that are already trying to do it, rather than setting up our own classes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you, you mentioned the kiosk earlier. Where do you find those?
We have them. We're pushing about 3,000 of them that are out there now. They're at most gun shops that sell silencers. If you walk in, there will generally be a kiosk in the corner. We have a list of them on our website. You know, go to silencershop.com, put in your zip code. It'll tell you all the kiosks around your house. There'd usually be quite a few of them around any given house in the entire country.
Okay. And so as far as selection of suppressors go, can they look through that selection on the kiosk, or do they go to a different website?
Yeah, the silencershop.com is where you'll see all the silencers, or go to the dealers and they'll show you. It's really however you want to go about it.
So
but
once they find it, then they go
the
to
kiosk.
this kiosk.
That's right. That's where you put in your fingerprints and demographics and stuff we need to fill out your paperwork. You're not actually making a purchase on the kiosk.
Okay. Who pays for that?
Not the customer. So really, it depends on the transaction. It's either us or the dealer. So, but it doesn't add anything to the cost of the can.
Okay.
Question. I don't know if you ever asked this, and I can't remember if we've talked about it. Do they make a suppressor for a 50 BMG?
They do.
They do.
And some of them are gigantic.
Looks like a roll of toilet paper. I've seen one.
In the early days, I would do like side by sides with a 50 BMG can next to a 22 can and just be like, this is fantastic. The difference is crazy, right?
Well, we shoot a 50 BMG a lot. I mean, we do. We do more videos, I guess. I guarantee you, we do more hunting videos with a 50 BMG on our YouTube channel than anybody.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, without question. And people are going, "Why do you do it?" It's like, because we can.
That's right.
Because it's fun. Because that's our choice, you know. And so there's so many different myths about the 50 BMG. But let me tell you something. One myth: that is not a myth. They are louder than hell.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep. You put those giant brakes on them, they're no joke.
Oh, my
Oh, and the thing about it is they weigh 30 pounds, 35 pounds, and they got to have a brake. But it's still, you talk about if you shoot a 50 BMG a lot, and you're not careful, you're going to develop bad habits. Okay. Even though the gun doesn't kick bad, it's so loud that it's going to scare you to death. It's like knowing you're fixing to get it, but you got to do it anyway. Boom.
That's great.
The what else can you tell us about, kind of your experience hunting? Have you done anything internationally, or is it all
I've been to Africa. Man, I tell you, I'm really wanting to go to New Zealand for a red stag. In the next couple of years, I'm going to do that.
Really?
But it's in fact, I'm here at the show setting up my next Africa hunt. I love going to Africa.
Yeah.
So are you doing plains game?
Yeah. Well, no, next time around, I think I'm going to focus on a Cape buffalo.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
Really?
Yeah. And maybe, I'll get a few additional animals while I'm there. That's the great thing about Cape buffalo, right?
Oh, yeah.
They can be long hunts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what gun would you take on the Cape?
I haven't actually decided yet. So I'm actually half tempted to do that 8.6 blackout. But it's
Is it a bolt gun?
Yes. So
Really?
Yep. So and they're lightweight, and now the range isn't super far, but out to 300 yards you're good. And with Cape buffalo,
You want to be
you don't-
close anyway.
That's right.
That's the whole deal.
yeah. So I tell you, I'm tempted. So
Well, there's a lot of options now for Cape buffalo, and they're a whole lot more affordable today than they've ever been before.
okay.
And so, I think that. But what I would recommend is check references. No matter who you deal with, please check references. And I think that's the one piece of advice I tell people all the time. It's one thing that we've learned the hard way. Okay, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I always check references. Okay? And I don't just check references with people that were successful. In other words, you go by these booths at these sports shows, somebody have a big deer, it doesn't matter, in their booth. Well, they're showing off the best of the best. Okay?
Right.
It's like, wait a minute, and they're doing that to sell you. I get that. But at the same time, too, because when I was a little boy, I'd walk through these shows and I wanted to go on, I still want to, every trip. I want to go on every trip. I want to go on every boat. I want to go do everything. I don't have enough time. And so, but the thing is, there's some good trips and some not good trips. And so references, I would suggest not just ask an outfitter for the references that were successful in killing a buffalo, but people that weren't successful. And the reason why is because you want to talk to those people, in my opinion, to find out why weren't they successful.
Okay.
Was it the weather? Was it the guide, transportation, the meals? Was it because there weren't any animals? I mean, why weren't they successful? Now, there are things that the difference between a good outfitter and a bad outfitter. I think a good outfitter is the guy that controls everything he can control. The food, the lodging, the transportation, his help. He can't control the weather. He can't control the fact that there are no animals unless he's hunting in a place where there are no animals. And there may be some places that are already shot out, okay?
Right.
And the population numbers may be low, so your odds of success are low. So I would really encourage you to check that out. I mean, I was talking to a guy the other day, and he said that he bought a hunt based on one of these shows, and he went in there, and he said he was very disappointed. He said it was a 10-day elk hunt. On the 9th day, he shot a cow. And he said if he would have just asked the right questions going into it, he would have saved that $9,000 on going on that 10-day hunt that on the 9th day he shoots that cow. So I would really recommend, whether you're on a turkey hunt or a deer hunt or an elk hunt, doesn't matter, check references.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially going all the way to Africa.
Yeah, and then something else too on Africa. In any place that you do these international hunts, you're going to have to be aware that they're going to be cost shipping your trophies back.
That actually, it seems like that costs more than the hunt.
Well, yeah, and over in Africa, a lot of times you can get your taxidermy work done over there, and it is cheaper. But the whole saying, "Get what you pay for,"
That's right.
it's true. And a lot of their stuff is like, and once you shoot a Cape buffalo, you're gonna walk up to them and go, "Where's the hair?" I'm just telling you, because it's like they don't have any hair on them. Huh?
Like a giant pig.
I mean, it's like they're black, but it's like, where the hell's the hair? Like, I mean, they just don't have a lot of hair on them. But when you get some of the stuff, when you see some of the work that some of these African taxidermists have done, it's like, ooh, I think I could do a better job.
Nice.
So I would recommend find a taxidermist that is over here that you trust,
Okay.
and then get the paperwork all lined up through him, okay, to come through his broker and stuff. Because, I mean, I've been over there, I don't know how many times I've been over there, but it is a hassle coming back. And if you deal with a good taxidermist, I mean, folks at Conroe do everything for us, but you do deal with a good taxidermist, they'll make it a whole lot more enjoyable.
Have you been before?
To Africa, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do the last time you were here? What part of Africa?
South Africa.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the name of I can't remember the name of the town, but it was the center of South Africa. It was honestly a super fun hunt, but it was one of those where I was with 2 of my 3 kids and my wife, and I wasn't actually hunting. I was just watching the kids hunt. A lot of my hunts are like that. I love watching the kids hunt, but this time I'm going to shoot something.
Nice.
Everything. You got any questions for us?
Yeah.
You know, no. I mean, it sounds like you guys are living the dream on the hunting stuff for sure.
Hey, I want to ask you questions because I do a lot of air gun hunting, a lot. Okay, and I'm shooting the 50 caliber air gun. One of the big things people watch, they watch this on YouTube, whatever, and they'll say, "Well, does that thing make a lot of noise?" Okay, yeah, I think it does. Okay, I mean, they're shooting 650 feet per second. I mean, they're just shooting. It's subsonic, but it's still making
they're
some
loud.
noise.
Yeah.
And I've heard people put suppressors on air guns before. Do y'all
That's right.
do that? Do y'all have suppressors available for air guns?
We don't. I will tell you, they are regulated completely differently.
Really?
The air gun suppressors, and they're the exact same thing, but they attach permanently to the barrels. Because if they come off, then you have to register them as a firearm suppressor.
Oh,
But if you permanently attach it to the air gun, then it's an air gun suppressor. It's not regulated at all. Same thing, cost less, no $200 tax, no weight. So that's why you'll see on a lot of air guns, you'll actually see the flare out at the end of the barrel, and it kind of turns into a can. It's just part of it. That's why. They're not regulated at all.
I wasn't aware of that.
And they're super effective.
He's got one. He just got this new air gun. It's his Dragon Claw. It's the 2nd generation.
Okay.
And he's been shooting this one forever. And I've got used to it.
Matter of fact, it's so powerful. I'm the first person in the world to ever kill a Cape buffalo with an air gun.
The original.
That's
the original
fantastic.
one. And now he's got one that goes like 150 FPS faster. And he's like, this thing's so powerful. It's so loud. I'm like, come on. And we're in the blind, and he shoots a deer. And afterwards, I was like, oh my God. Like
I told you.
Yeah, he's like, I told you. It was loud.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I thought they all had silencers.
No. This is it's a 50 cal, and it shoots either pellets or arrows.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it is it's a combo gun. I don't like shooting pellets, although a lot of people do. I personally like shooting an arrow because I like making a bigger hole, and because
Right.
it doesn't travel supersonic, the pellet does not expand far. So the broadhead opens up and makes a lethal hole. I mean, there's a good blood trail, but that 50 caliber air gun, it makes some noise.
Yeah. I think it's like you were talking about earlier. I think a lot of people in the shooting sports don't always. A lot of time they do, but they don't always. Also hunt. So I think it's really cool, especially being owning Silencer Shop, that you're vastly into both. It seems like.
Yeah, I love shooting. Honestly, I feel like sometimes I shoot just so I can reload. I love reloading. I'm one of those nerdy guys.
Really?
And then I just love to hunt.
Yeah.
Right. So it's those reloading and hunting. Those are the 2 things I think I love probably more than anything.
So have you noticed it's like in the shooting world, hunters are shooters, but not all shooters are hunters. Okay, so there's 2 groups here. It almost seems like shooters, by and large, I've seen that they don't really like hunting. Some of them do it, but most of them don't even like hunting. They're
Or
just shooters.
Yeah, they just haven't been, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a lot of them, there's this, it really is, it's like anything. If you're not involved, you almost have to find somebody or some group.
As a mentor.
That's right. I love taking new people, get them exposed to it, get them addicted to it. And it's, because, otherwise we're going to lose our rights
Yeah.
if we don't
Yes.
get more people involved.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. And addiction is a good word.
That's right.
I know that every serious hunter that I know, that especially people that grew up hunting, it's like this is their addiction, man. And I love
it's
that because
fun.
it's mine.
So let me ask you a question. What's the future of Silencer Shop? What do you see you doing?
We're really focused on, in the next, and I'm going to say short-term future, is really focusing on improving that process even more. We're trying to streamline it. We're trying to make it to where it's very instantaneous and reactive for both dealers and customers. So you almost don't even realize you went through the process. We have some software coming that really is, I think, fantastic in that direction. Long term, we're actually branching more into other areas of the gun industry, areas where dealers have problems with paperwork and other processes that people are dealing with. But it's short term. We're just focused on making the process easier.
Nice.
Okay.
Very cool. Well,
we appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
And I think that a lot of people that listen or watch us on YouTube wind up they've got questions about suppressors. I think, and I still do. Like the air gun deal. I mean, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
yeah.
Now I can
PPG.
answer it kind of halfway intelligently.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. And if somebody wants more information, they need to just look up silencershop.com.
Silencershop.com. Yep, that's right.
All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you. And if you need any help pointing you out in the right direction on Cape Buffalo, let me know. I'll be more than happy to point you to a couple of guys I know that do a really, really good job.
Okay. Yeah, sounds great.
All right.
Folks, if you're watching this podcast right now, I'm going to put we're going to put the information up where you can tune in, because we're going to be airing it on a variety of different platforms, and we've got a bunch of cool guests on, just like Dave here, telling their stories about hunting and being people who hunt. So it's been a lot of fun so far. I've enjoyed it.
And we're learning how to do this with
Yeah,
every one of
yeah.
these podcasts. We're learning how. We appreciate y'all watching, and we appreciate your patience, and we want to hear from you. And we'll catch you next time.
People Who Hunt can be watched on Facebook and YouTube and listened to on all major platforms.